Mr. Bacalar.
Hello, Jen. How the hell are you?
I'm doing great. I wish we could do this in a park, and I wish anytime we get invited somewhere to check out a new thing, I wish we could be in a park. But,
Same.
sadly, you are on the opposite side of the country, and it'd be a little bit too costly to just put us both in a park. Maybe next time we'll just get green screens.
Yeah, a total logistical nightmare.
Yeah.
For sure.
But we got invited by the fine folks at Nintendo to check out Metroid Dread and the new OLED Switch. Right off the top, it is definitely a Switch.
Okay. That actually eases my mind a little bit.
Yeah.
Had some worries there.
So there was some unique guidelines as to how we could capture footage from this event. And they wanted to, obviously highlight the display of the OLED Switch. So their guidelines were that the footage, there was no direct capture allowed, but we could capture it over the shoulder. So a lot of the footage is just of a camera set up over my shoulder while I am frantically trying to play Metroid and not be bad at Metroid. All right, Mr. Bacalar. So we are... I want to show you Metroid Dread and the new Switch OLED. Man,
good.
Rhymes.
I want to see it. I want to see it.
You think they named it Metroid Dread so it would time out and rhyme with OLED?
Yes, they 100% did that. Nintendo's a very calculated company. Okay. This is exactly what they did on purpose.
Okay.
It seems impossible to line up these two things, but I have no doubt in my mind this was 100% deliberate.
So
I'm kidding.
So we're limited in the amount of footage we can show y'all, the audience, but Nintendo was kind enough to provide some B-roll, which pretty much mirrors what I played through in the early bits of this game.
Okay.
And one of the first things I want to say is that this screen is pretty big. It's pretty dang bright.
Looks big.
This is footage of one of the Emmy encounters. The Emmys are like the portal-looking robots. Like, you can see it kind of chasing me here. We'll see more footage of this later, but Mr. Bacalar, I died, I can't tell you the number of times where the fine folks giving this demo had to get involved and be like, are you okay? Do you need a glass of water?
Did they rip it out of your hands and were like, this is how you do it?
No, but I almost ripped the Switch out of their hands so I could look at this thing.
Is this you rubbing it in? Is this you making me a fool?
No. See, look. The Switch like this, right? This is like the normal angle. I pause the video real quick. But then, say you want to get a little frisky. Say you want to like stand up, or I mean, I honestly don't know why you would put the kickstand this far down. But look at that.
Yeah, maybe if you're like suspended from a ceiling and you're trying to do like Mission Impossible sort of trapeze wire work.
Yeah.
That's a good way to watch it. It's a good way to play your Switch.
So here's a couple stills from the video I shot that just wanted to show off a little bit more of the OLED Switch before we get into Dread. But look at these speakers. There's I don't know if you have the original Switch in front of you or nearby, but these are huge in comparison.
Yeah.
Where
the little openings are much larger.
Yeah. And I didn't have a shotgun mic on the camera I was recording during our appointment, but that thing at full blast, like the depth and clarity of the audio was really actually impressive.
Nice.
Because sometimes, the Switch audio on the original Switch can occasionally be a little bit tinny. But look at this kickstand. This is how it...
Shut up.
This is how it should have been, right?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, like without a doubt, like that. I feel like I'm not even allowed to say the kickstand was bad. Like I just have to like ignore that it ever existed. But yeah, like a better kickstand, sure, that's great. That's what I want.
I do want to reinforce, like it. You can set it at pretty much any angle that feels appropriate for you, the user, to set it at.
Great.
And at any of those different angles, it feels fairly sturdy. Now, of course, you're not going to be able to like put any significant amount of weight on it, but for the most part, if it's just like the little Switch screen unit by itself, and you pop the Joy-Con babies off, good to go. Good to go.
All right. Lovely.
I think I do have a picture of, yes, so the new and improved dock. The dock here is interesting, and I feel a little silly that this kind of sells me on a newer Switch.
The dock.
The dock, yes. If I could just buy the dock, that'd be dope. The overall construction. I'm sorry. Yes, go ahead, sir.
You're going to say the overall construction is the same? Like, would the old Switch fit into this dock?
I'm under the assumption that it would fit. Yes.
Okay.
But overall, it feels more sturdier than the kind of couple bits of plastic that the original one is, right?
Yeah, the original one could use like a brass weight in the bottom of it.
Yeah.
Like it could use some sort of heft.
And the new Switch dock does have some heft. Let me go back to that. And so the back door, it completely just pops off instead of having the weird swivel deal going on.
Got it.
But the biggest addition for me is the addition of an Ethernet jack into it.
Right.
It kind of feels like. Go ahead.
No. Like, I guess it's the first time I really trying to wrap my head around like what Like, obviously, I know why you want a hardwired connection, but you are, you're still using a wireless connection. I guess it's like wireless to wireless, but now wired to wireless because of like the relationship the dock has with the Switch itself. I don't know. Just felt like maybe saying that out loud and wondering what the actual tangible, differences are going to be. Obviously, if it's starting with that wired connection, it's going to be better than starting with a wireless one. But what does that net out like is something I'm kind of curious about. That said, I've never really come across a situation with downloading a game or something with Switch where I'm like, oh man, my kingdom for an Ethernet switch kind of thing,
Yeah. For me personally, it's just been like playing online games where, in my room, the Wi-Fi connection is a little bit more spottier or, since we'll more often than not.
Blame that.
Yeah, that's what it is, man. That's why I be making the misplays.
That's why you're gonna get rocked by everyone with a new Switch because their latency is gonna be way lower. You're gonna be able to detect wireless Switch players just by their latency. You're gonna be like, look at this fool at 150 ms. I'm rocking 11. Anyway.
But it overall does have a lot more heft to it. So it feels more sturdy. Like, I don't know, there's occasionally times where I feel like I'm going to knock it off my desk.
Sure.
Popping
I've done
Switch
it.
in and out, yeah.
I've done it with the Switch in it. It doesn't feel great.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And this is just another picture of how dang bright this is. I don't know if it's because these were specific demo models, but I wasn't able to adjust the brightness of the OLED Switch unit.
Gotcha.
And this doesn't play as well over photos or video, but the overall colors you're seeing on the screen felt a lot more vibrant and deeper contrast than you would on the original Switch.
Great.
Yeah.
I mean, look, that's
cool
like
superhero landing.
It is a dope superhero landing. I mean, look, that's the thing you want, right? Like that's the thing you want to know. And I feel like you've said this before. At some point, it's like if you are playing this game if you're playing this console exclusively in mobile mode, right? Like in your hands.
Yes.
This is why you're upgrading that screen.
Totally. Like if you mostly play your Switch docked, you're not going to get anything out of this.
Yeah, which is good to have up front. Like let there be no confusion. Like that is what they are selling here.
Yeah. And so this is some of the B-roll that Nintendo sent along over. I thought we'd just shoot the breeze over, huh?
Hell yeah. Let's check it out.
So we might jump around with some of this footage. This is footage of an early boss fight. And man, I forgot that in Metroid games you don't ever see a health meter.
Yeah. Do you think that like holds up?
I don't know. It's like a retro thing, right? Where that folks like. But so we're actually going to absorb a power up from this boss we just beat. I believe it's called the Omega Beam, the Omega Ray, and this is the only thing that can actually defeat Omega Cannon, I guess. Can actually defeat the Emmy units chasing you. So there's a little twist on it. Look at that. Look at that piece of unit.
That looks heavy. It looks uncomfortable.
It does. I think the next clip we'll see here. Yep. So the Emmy's chasing us. It's all. They have like a kind of sphere that they operate in, like a little zone of the map here. And if you
they don't leave that zone, is what you're saying?
They don't leave that zone.
Okay.
They took that Jay-Z song, "Don't Let Me Get Into My Zone," flipped it around, and took it very seriously.
Really went to town with it, yeah.
Yeah. But
am I crazy, or does this game have a look to it that is almost a little cartoony in spots?
Yeah. Like these specific zones, like there's a weird grain filter going on, and then even the different mini cutscenes, I guess we'll see, feel a little cartoony. So if you try and go up against an Emmy unit, and you're not armed with this Omega Cannon thing, or I'm assuming future upgrades, it's almost an instant kill. And it kind of they didn't show it off in this footage, but in the footage that in my experiences of it, dude, it feels very tense and very scary, which is a thing that is interesting to feel from a Metroid game, where the overall ambiance of it can be scary and whatnot. But
sure.
So this is a screenshot where you have to use the Omega Beam or Omega Stream, to wear down the Emmy's face shield thing.
Okay.
And then from there, you have to charge up the beam, which takes a significant amount of time, and then hit the little dot on its head. Which is very stress-inducing because it does take a long time to charge up.
Seems like it's a while.
It seems like it's a while. But the neat thing that the game will do is that when you hold down the left shoulder button to do the pinpoint aiming, it'll go into this pseudo 2.5D angle, so you can, I don't know, see it coming at you better and feel more scared. The game moves really fast as well, which I think is useful, especially in these Emmy encounters. I think we'll see footage of a boss fight. Yes. Look at it, presenting its little bum to us. Oh,
that's lovely. Okay. All right, so the sliding stuff is going to be like a thing, right?
Yes.
Sliding is sliding under enemies. They're gonna have the perfect opening for you to get under and to the other side. Like, I feel like that's the thing, right?
Yeah, and also the same amount of openings that'll tease like, I can't slide underneath here, but maybe if I could get into a small ball form, I could get by.
Yeah, if only there was a way.
If only there was a way.
Slide. There you go.
There we go. And so the neat thing with like this boss encounter, even though it's pulled back to this view, you're still shooting off this cannon as you're going through
in
that
that
scene.
3D. Oh, yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So when I was doing this the first time before I had to redo it, I was just pinging my regular shots, and those were just bouncing off the face shield.
Cool.
But if you're like, you could just unload with all your rockets, and that damage will actually factor in. And yeah, this is some screenshots of this boss encounter. You, in this early bit, you eventually do get a charged shot that does, I think, about the same amount of damage that a rocket could do, but it does take a while to charge up.
Okay.
Good posing here.
I do the fact that the game swaps back and forth so sort of seamlessly between the 2D and 3D stuff, I think is, going to add that kind of dimension that that kind of separates it a little bit. I mean, that for me, that was like a question I sort of had going into this is like,
Yeah.
how are they? What is that dimensional relationship going to look like? And I'm glad to see it is somewhat, um, is somewhat being like mixed up a little bit, which seems kind of fun.
Yeah. I don't know if you noticed there and in that boss fight, but pairing is a big thing in
Yeah.
this game.
Okay.
There'll be like a little yellow flash where I think you hit X, and then that stuns the enemy, and then the next shot you do with your regular pea shooter will just knock out the whole thing.
Cool.
Which is neat. And also, apparently, you can also parry the Emmys, but your boy was not quick enough to get that window going.
To get better there.
I gotta get better. Oh, here's another parry. Boom.
Oh wow.
And yeah,
that looks satisfying.
If you can wind up like hitting another enemy in the process, it'll knock them out as well. And you're getting your environmental puzzles, right? Certain doors you can't get to unless you get certain upgrades. A bunch of secret destructible walls, which was kind of frustrating for me. That's
always the Metroid thing, right? Like
yeah, and that was the thing I wasn't familiar with. So I was kind of bashing my head against a wall for that.
Yeah, because as far as I can remember, it's always just sort of like blast everything until something gives. Like for me, that's. I mean, I don't necessarily enjoy the idea of doing that, but that's a Metroid thing.
Yeah. And like there will be some areas where it's way too hot here. I guess I'll probably eventually have to reroute all the cooling.
Right.
So in classic Metroid fashion, you're going to revisit spots because they were blocked off. And I was never really a big Metroid fan, more of a Mega Man guy growing up. But I did play the ones that came out on the GBA. I will say I left this meeting wanting to play more Metroid.
Well, that's good. I mean, if it had not grabbed you all these other times, like I think that says something to maybe the evolution of what they've taken their 2D games.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we have one more clip here. Yeah. Okay. So back to talking about the Emmys, these certain areas, and you can see that we're kind of triggering its motion sensors here.
Sure.
It is fairly relentless in hunting you down in these specific fields, but because we beat that boss earlier, we have a cloaking thing going on.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah.
Oh, good for Samus. That's cool.
Yeah, good for Samus Aran, apparently. But man, when I was playing through these segments during the demo, I was initially kind of put off by it, but it's kind of exciting being able to just like run around and navigate the areas as fast as you can to get the heck out of there.
Yeah, I think for me, the reason I jump off or bounce off a lot of Metroid games is I just get this like map fatigue sort of thing, like and sort of like backtrack fatigue, where I'm just like, okay, maybe I'm just done doing this whole sort of loop sort of thing. So,
yeah,
I wonder if that's gonna kind of happen again with Dread, but everything I've seen kind of gives me the. It sets off those alarm bells that I'm like, I think I want to try this, and I think I want to see where it takes me, and how long I last playing it. Well, that that remains to be seen.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, man. When they showed off the first footage of Metroid Dread teasing these portal robots, I was like, I don't know if I want that added tension. I kind of like just roaming around the map, right?
Yeah,
and just finding the little secrets. I will say the map is super functional and that like it'll flash a bit saying like, hey, you might have missed something here just in case.
Gotcha.
But these segments with the Emmys like running away from them with the added mobility of like that slide, if you can somehow manage to parry them properly, you can get away from them for a little bit. But with how fast this game moves, and I don't think this B-roll did it justice how much you can zoom around. It's fun. It's fun. It's like parkour.
Very cool.
I think I have one more.
Parkour.
Yeah, it's like parkour. I think I have one more screenshot here before everything else. Oh yeah, look at that. This weird mode.
This what?
This weird mode. Like I don't.
Oh, this weird mode. Sorry.
Like
yeah, seems like it's almost like not supposed to be able to do it, but it does.
Yeah. Here it is. And Nintendo was kind enough to send over a couple photos. I haven't really looked at these photos yet, so I thought it would be fun just to look at them.
Yeah.
And see what they're about.
Check them out live right now.
Okay. All right.
Oh. Okay.
All right.
This normal human behavior.
This person is showing off like, yo, I got the new OLED Switch. You're stuck there with the old one.
Yeah. He's like, oh, damn. I'm going to steal that from you when you're not looking.
Oh, I'm on the bus. It's bright. I'm in daylight, and I can play this OLED Switch.
I mean...
Oh, okay, so here's a picture.
Nice.
Of the Ethernet.
So it completely detaches, like you said.
Yeah. There's no swivel like the original design.
Yeah. I mean, I would be into an Ethernet for sure, but like for me, besides the screen, there's just not another real reason to upgrade. Especially because 99% of the time I'm using this thing, it's docked. So it's like, what's the point?
Sure. Also, you probably already have a dongle if you wanted to plug in an Ethernet cable. Is this all
maybe?
This isn't all the photos they sent.
They gave you this again?
No, hold on. I don't know why. Okay, well, the other photos I have here. Let me see if I can bring them in.
Wow.
Yeah. But overall, like I was not super thrilled about the OLED Switch, right? Because you're expecting that it's a half-step console, that there is like a hardware boost, and I hate to think and say that like I'm seriously considering getting one, because when I went back home and played with my Switch, I was like, oh man,
what's this garbage?
The screen's dinky.
Yeah, I mean, look, like if you are someone who plays a Switch, I would not say like, I would say the vast majority of time in mobile mode.
Yes.
Then it's a consideration, right? Like
100%.
And that makes sense. That's fine. Maybe it's worth it in that situation.
Yeah. Metroid Dread OLED Switch coming out October 8th. The OLED Switch clocking in at, I believe it's $350.
Is it really?
Price point. Yeah. And I don't know, man. I feel like such a pawn that I'm thinking about it.
I get it. Look,
yeah,
that's okay.
It's very tempting, And like the wild thing is, like, there's a lot of households out there, man, that have multiple Switches that might add like a third or fourth one to their rotation now.
Yeah, and then when you get the two Switches in the house, then you go, well, shit. I guess I need 2 Mario Kart Live games.
Oh.
I mean, that's just the thing my kid's trying to get me to do. He's like, get the Luigi cart. And I'm just like, no, dude, that's fucking Charlie Day. Like,
what's wrong with Charlie Day?
There's nothing wrong with Charlie Day. Now I want the Luigi cart because they ruined Mario. So no, I'm kidding.
But thank you, Mr. Bacalar, for checking out the OLED Switch.
Yeah, thanks for going out there and getting all that hot footage. Appreciate you doing that, man.
Yeah, I tried to sneak in some other videos and stuff, but the plumbers were around. They were like, "No, leave."
Just like holding a wrench, being like, "What you doing there? What you doing there, Jan? Is that your name?"
So there were a lot of geese around the Nintendo office that I was at.
Okay.
And man, I almost got into a fight with some of these geese.
Geese are aggressive.
Dude, they were swarming my car, and I was like, oh man, how do I get in there?
Is this my story, visiting Nintendo, being attacked by geese? Is this what I'm going to be known for?
But yeah, I don't know. It's weird to say that this is one of those things that you kind of need to see to determine whether or not you want to get it. Like, you need to physically see it, I believe.
Yeah.
So
I believe that about the screen for sure.
Yeah.
Like, that's easy to believe. Yeah.
Like, it's hard to convey via video, and like, you know, these press photos about how much bigger the screen is and how much brighter, and like the colors just feel, or at least look better than they do on the original Switch.
Yeah.
And also, like,
makes sense.
You know, I got mine here, and maybe like this is because like I have this old screen protector on, and it's like all super scuffed up,
yeah.
a little air bubble that hasn't left since 2017. Scratching at it, still not going away.
Nice.
Yeah. And yeah, that was the OLED Switch.
Cool. Well, thanks a lot, Jan. That was great.
Thank you, sir.